women continue to self-finance, limiting their ability to complete, expand, and dominate their industries, she added. The two-day lecture on the theme, Her Money and Her Power, Making Finance Work for Women, sought to explore the challenges women face in accessing finance as well as the benefits of helping women's businesses. Mrs. Annan Ankoma, after delivering the lecture, was awarded an honorable doctorate in laws, honoris causa, by the university in recognition of her outstanding contributions to banking and the finance across the African continent. The AFG Memorial Lectures was instituted by the University of Ghana in 1957 as a thought-provoking platform for personalities who have distinguished themselves in their respective fields. So moving on to the next story. Some recently established cement manufacturers are substituting limestone, a key raw material in cement production, with cheaper and inferior alternatives, insiders have revealed. Reports have revealed that certain manufacturers, some of whom have been caught in the acts, are replacing limestone with quarry dust, clay, silica and other low-grade substitutes. Data on cement quality substituted by the Ghana Standards Authority (GSA) at a stakeholder meeting of the Cement Manufacturing Development Committee (CMDC) and industry players on March 5th this year confirmed an ongoing trend of the production and sale of substandard cement in the country. This practice, aimed at cutting costs, raises serious concern about the quality and safety of cement products on the market. The Deputy Director of the Building and Road Research Institute of the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, Professor Mark Bediako, told the Daily Graphic that research had proven that limestone as a 5 to 30% constituent was essential in cement production, providing the calcium oxide required for the chemical binding process, and that it did not alter the quality of cement in any way. However, Professor Bediako said the alternative did not only compromise the quality of the cement, but also posed significant risks to the structural integrity of buildings and infrastructure. However, Professor Bediako said the alternative did not only compromise the quality of the cement, but also posed significant risks to the structural integrity of buildings and infrastructure. He further on also explained that cement produced with such substituents carry dust and more prone to cracking, weakening, and failing under stress. Professor Bediako said the underlying factor for some of the manufacturers' use of cheap alternatives, such as a substitute to limestone, was the siting of their companies in areas in the Ashanti region and Bunu regions, which were far from large deposits of limestones. Now, he also went ahead to say that using such substances in making cement was also prone to making our buildings weak and causing havoc, when it shouldn't be something we would be actually facing. Away from that story and moving on to the next story, Dampari should have retired voluntarily, says Professor Ajimandria. Governance expert Professor Bafo Ajimandria has criticized the handling of former Inspector General of Police, the IGP, Dr. George Ekufu Dampari's removal, arguing that he should have retired voluntarily to maintain his dignity. Speaking on Saturday, March 15th, 2025, Professor Ajimandria stated that while the president has the authority to replace security chiefs, the approach to Dampari's exit was poorly managed. For me, my regret for Dampari is that once it became obvious that the president was going to drop him, and it had been going on around for weeks, if not months, he should have retired and then gone home to the president to discuss why, he said. According to Professor Ajimandria, this would have allowed for a more respectable departure rather than an abrupt removal. He emphasized that the man has served this nation for 35 years in the service and should have left on better terms. He pointed to long-lasting issues within the Ghana Police Service that may have contributed to Dampari's challenges. He noted that promotion and the seniority syndrome have often caused tension, with officers expecting advancement based on years of service rather than performance. In Ghana, the seniority syndrome and how one gets promoted in the police, there have been grievances over promotions, and this has been a major challenge for Dampari. He explained, Dampari's leadership style placed greater emphasis on the merit rather than seniority, which, according to Professor Ajumandria, created resentment within the service. People have complained that he was promoting his friends, but maybe these were just performing officers, he said. In security agencies, any president coming to power would like to have top officers who align with his vision of leadership, adding that this happens even in countries like the United States. However, he cautioned that such decisions must be handled carefully to avoid disruptions within institutions like the police service. So, away from that story, the government has announced plans to reconstruct the whole Aflao Road and the Weta Afia Dinyagba Haveji Road in the Volta region, aiming to improve major road networks in the area. The Minister for Roads and Highways, Mr. Kwame Agboja, disclosed this during an inspection tour of the affected roads on Sunday, March 16, 2025. He was accompanied by the Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways, Mr. Al-Hassan Suhuyini, and a team of engineers from the Ministry of Roads and Highways and the Ghana Highway Authority. Mr. Agboja explained that the whole Aflao Road will be reconstructed under President John Maham's Big Push agenda, a program designed to accelerate infrastructure development. The Weta Afia Dinyagba Haveji Road, on the other hand, will be funded through the Roads Ministry 2025 budgetary allocation. The government is committed to improving roads in the Volta region, and these two projects are a priority, Mr. Agboja stated. He also revealed that visibility studies, drawings and designs for the whole bypass, a planned diversion to ease congestion in Ho, are almost complete. Once procurement processes are finalized, construction will commence. The construction of one of these roads is expected to ease transportation challenges. For residents, traders, and businesses, particularly those commuting between Ho and Aflao and along the Weta Afia Dinyagba Haveji stretch. The Ministry of Roads and Highways has assured the public that the project will proceed as required, and there would be no hidings or anything or any corrupt statements or any corrupt thing that would come from there. Away from that story, the Executive Director of the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, and Chairman of the Constitutional Review Committee, Professor Henry Kwesi Prempeh, has stated that while the committee has engaged President John Mahama on constitutional reforms, the final outcome will depend on Parliament and the Ghanaian people. Speaking on Monday, March 17, 2025, Professor Prempeh disclosed that the committee met with the President 2 weeks ago to provide an update on their work and to hear his views on aspects of the Constitution that may require changes. We sought an audience with him, and he granted it. At the meeting, we informed him about what we've been doing since our inauguration, but we also made it clear that it was a stakeholder engagement. We wanted to hear from him what he was expecting from this process based on his experiences as a president, vice president, and minister. Professor Prempeh stressed that constitutional reforms do not rest solely with the president, as Parliament must pass the necessary bills before any changes can take effect. The president does not hold all the keys. He is only one of these gatekeepers. Once we clear his barrier, we have to go to the Parliament because constitutional reform is essentially lawmaking. It has to come in the form of a bill that has been passed in Parliament, he explained. He also added that if reforms involve entrenched provisions, a national referendum will be required, allowing Ghanaians to make the final decision. For the entrenched clauses, it is all of us. We have to go for a referendum, put the issues on the ballot, and let Ghanaians decide whether to accept or reject them, he stated. Professor Prempeh urged Ghanaians to actively follow the process and engage their representatives to push for real constitutional change. It takes sustained public interest and pressure. Parliamentaries don't represent themselves, they represent us. So as long as Ghanaians are involved in this process, take a keen interest in it and stay engaged, I believe there will be a political response to it, he said. Professor Prempeh recalled that during the committee's inauguration, President Mahama assured them that the review process would not be abandoned. The first time he gave that assurance was at our inauguration, that this was not going to be one of those processes that gathered dust. He repeated that he pledges that our meeting with him. He further explained that the president's campaign promise of a reset for the country includes governance reforms, making the constitutional review process a crucial part of fulfilling that pledge. The president campaigned on a promise of a reset, and resetting governance means that the way we've done things must change. If Ghanaians really want change, they will get it. It is up to us to stay engaged. These are some of the words of Professor. Away from that story, and moving on to that story, the next story. Former Black Stars gaffer Charles Kwablan Akono has expressed confidence that Ghana will qualify for the FIFA World Cup next year. Ghana, currently second in group with 9 points, will face Chad on Friday at the Accra Sports Stadium before traveling to Morocco to play Madagascar next week Monday. Speaking to the Graphic Sports in an interview yesterday, Akono stated that he believed the national team had learned from its disappointment of missing out on the African Cup of Nations, which is the AFCON, and would use this opportunity to correct past mistakes. The players are mature and professional enough to understand the dynamics, so they will do everything to win the matches, he emphasized. The 51-year-old stated that the Black Stars had a brighter chance of winning the two matches than even drawing or losing, considering the circumstances surrounding the team now. The former coach also noted that he could see a strong desire to succeed among the players selected by coach Otto Addo. He was confident they would deliver, knowing that failing to qualify for the 2026 World Cup was not an option. According to him, because the team failed in the AFCON qualifiers, they will do everything possible to secure qualification to the FIFA World Cup, and he believed that the motivation to qualify for the World Cup was much higher than that of the AFCON. I'm sure they are aware that after failing to qualify for the AFCON, the only option left now is the World Cup. And if you look at the opponent, it's not something we should say we can't beat, he also stated. Despite past losses to teams, Ghana was expected to defeat. Akono stressed that Chad and Madagascar should not pose a serious threat if the team remained focused. He also believes that playing Madagascar in Morocco rather than their home country works to Ghana's advantage, as they will lack home support. Under normal circumstances, these teams shouldn't worry about us, but football has changed, so we have to take it very seriously, Akono cautioned. He called on all Ghanaians, including the management of Ghana Football, to rally behind the Black Stars to ensure qualification dream would become reality. Now moving on to the next story. A joint operation by regulatory and intelligence agencies at Tema Port has led to the interception of opioid drugs worth an estimated 20 million Ghana cedis, which were purposely in transit to Niger. The shipment was seized following a coordinated inspection involving the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority (GRA), the Narcotics Control Commission (NACOC), National Security, the National Intelligence Bureau (NIB), the Food and Drugs Authority (FDA), and the Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority (GPHA). The consignment included a large quantity of opioid pharmaceuticals laced with other drugs, raising concern over illicit drug trafficking through Ghana's ports. Among the intercepted opioids were 26 cartons of Tapendol 250 mg, 160 cartons of Tafradol 120 mg, and 40 cartons of Timaking Tapendol and 120. The consignment also contained 190 cartons of chlorpheniramine maleate and 320 cartons of diazole loperamide. The Minister of Health, Kwabena Minta Akando, together with the Commissioner of Customs, Brig Gen Zibrim Ayorogo, and CEO of the FDA, Dr. Delise Mimidakon, visited Tema Port on Monday, March 17, 2025, to assess the situation. They confirmed that investigations were ongoing to uncover the full details of the shipment, including its intended recipients. Mr. Akando stated that authorities were working to determine the identities of operational methods and motives of those behind the consignment. He noted that Ghana has recently been flagged as a major transit hub for opioids in West Africa, while Nigeria has been praised for its robust measures in preventing the movement of such controlled substances. He also emphasized that while Ghana remains committed to facilitating trade, the country will not allow itself to become a haven for illegal opioids. He assured the public that President John Dramani Mahama is personally committed to addressing the issue and preventing the proliferation of such substances. Mr. Akando reaffirmed that under Ghana's regulations, only Tema Port and Kotoka International Airport, KIA, are designated for the import and export of pharmaceutical products. He warned that no medication is permitted to enter or exit the country via land borders, and urged security agencies to confiscate any unauthorized drugs, even common ones like paracetamol, if found being transported through illegal routes. He also disclosed that the government is engaging with Niger's authority to verify whether the consignment was officially sanctioned by the country, stressing that if approval had been granted, Ghana would not allow its ports to be used as a transit point for illegal or unauthorized drugs. The government is moving swiftly to court to obtain an order for the proper disposal of the seized items. The Minister of Health commended the regulatory and security agencies for their vigilance and called on the public, particularly importers and exporters, to volunteer information that could help combat illicit trade in pharmaceuticals. I have asked for an update on the whereabouts of the exporters and importers, and very soon I will be briefed on their current status, he said. The CEO of the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, Delise Mimidakon, stated that the shipment had not been properly declared to customs, thereby constituting customs offense and warranting its seizure by the state. She further noted that the products lacked key manufacturing details, with the only making on stripes indicating that they were made in India. Authorities have assured the public that all necessary steps are being taken to clamp down on illegal drug trafficking and protect the country's public health and security. Away from that story, a joint security task force led by the Savannah Regional Security Council, RECSEC, has arrested 9 suspected illegal miners, including 5 foreign nationals, in an operation along the Black Volta Basin in the Bambo enclave of the Savannah region. The task force also impounded 12 excavators, generators, and other mining equipment used by the illegal miners. The confiscated equipment has since been moved to the Bamboy police station as investigations continue. However, some of the miners managed to escape by diving into the river upon seeing the security operatives. The operation, which lasted for over 15 hours, was conducted in response to growing concerns over environmental destruction and water pollution caused by illegal mining activities. In an interview with the media, the Savannah Regional Minister, Salisu Awobi, expressed deep concern over the devastation caused by illegal mining in the area. We received reports about the destruction caused by mining activities, but seeing the situation firsthand has left me heartbroken and shocked. The miners have blocked portions of the black water with no sand to facilitate their illegal operations and has caused damage to the environment, and this is very alarming. He lamented. He said all suspects would have been screened and prosecuted in accordance with the law. Mr. Awube reiterated the government's commitment to intensifying the fight against illegal mining activities in the enclave, stating that more operations would be conducted in the coming days to curb the menace. Illegal mining activities have become increasingly notorious along the Black Volta, posing serious threats to water bodies, biodiversity, and critical infrastructure such as the Bwe Power Generation Dam and the Akosombo Power Generation Dam and the Akosombo Power Generation Dam downstream. Now moving away from that story and onto the next story. Now we are moving on to international stories. The role of legendary actor Gene Hackman has been released, but uncertainty lingers over $80 million, which is 62 million euros fortune. The two-time Academy Award winner left his entire estate to his wife of 30 years, Betsy Arakawa. But Arakawa, 65, was found dead alongside her husband in their New Mexico home last month. Legal experts have now said that because authorities say Arakawa died 7 days before her husband, Hackman's children could now potentially inherit his fortune, despite not being named in the will. His three children with his late ex-wife, Faye Maltese, Christopher, 65, Elizabeth, 62, and Leslie, 58, have not commented publicly on the matter yet. Legal documents obtained show Hackman, 95, named Arakawa as a sole beneficiary in 1995, with the last update to the will in 2005. However, California attorney Trey Lovell told the media that the estate could default to them under succession laws as long as there was no other beneficiary named. The estate will actually be probated in accordance with interstate succession laws, and the children would lawfully be next in line to inherit. They would also need to prove that the will is invalid because his late wife Arakawa died before Hackman. Authorities say Arakawa passed away on 11 February after contracting a rare virus, days before Hackman died of natural causes. The couple was found dead in separate rooms of their $4 million Santa Fe home on 26 February after neighborhood security conducted a welfare check and saw their bodies on the ground through a window. Arakawa was found in the bathroom with pills scattered nearby, while Hackman was in the back of the house wearing sweatpants and slippers, his cane and sunglasses behind him. Officials determined he died 7 days after his wife due to severe heart disease, with advanced Alzheimer's listed as a contributing factor.
You are listening to Big Family Radio. Big Family
You
Radio.
are welcome.
Obiase.
Thank you for listening to News at 6 from the studios of Big Family Entertainment. Now, to acknowledge my sponsors: Trustees Network Group, Center for Trade, and you can also watch us live and also follow us on Facebook at BFM Network and ABK TV Ghana. And you can, to acknowledge my sponsors also, Big Family Multimedia Institute and BFM Store. Thank you for watching News at 6 from the studios of Big Family TV and Radio. My name is Esther Akusia Gbobli, and this is News at 6. Thank you.